You're pouring $45 full synthetic oil into your engine right now, thinking you're giving it the best protection money can buy. But here's what the bottle doesn't tell you. That oil may have never seen the inside of a laboratory. It came out of the ground, got refined, and got stamped with the word synthetic because a court ruling in the 1990s made that completely legal. And the brands doing this are not some sketchy no-names you've never heard of. They are the brands sitting on shelves at every Walmart, every AutoZone, and every Jiffy Lube in America right now. Today, I'm exposing exactly which 10 brands are doing this, why it matters for your specific engine, and what you should actually be buying instead. Castrol Edge Full Synthetic. Let's start with the brand that's sitting in more garages than any other oil on this list, and the brand that is personally responsible for creating the legal framework that makes everything else on this list possible. Castrol Edge. Formula One sponsorships. Fluid titanium technology. Premium packaging with aggressive pricing to match. You've seen the commercials. You've seen it at every AutoZone, every Walmart, every Jiffy Lube in America. Castrol Edge is positioned as the apex of consumer motor oil technology, the oil serious drivers reach for when they want the absolute best protection available. The base oil is primarily Group III, refined petroleum, not lab-synthesized molecules. The titanium in fluid titanium technology refers to titanium-based additives incorporated into the formulation, not the base oil structure. The additive package is genuinely sophisticated. Castrol's engineering team knows what they're doing. The oil passes API-SP certification and performs adequately across a wide range of normal driving applications. But you are paying over $10 per quart for Group III oil dressed up in decades of marketing spend. The premium price implies premium base oil chemistry. The Formula One association implies laboratory-engineered molecules at the cutting edge of lubrication science. Neither implication is what you're actually receiving when you pour that bottle into your engine. The oil works. For normal driving with regular oil changes, Castrol Edge protects your engine adequately, but it is not what the label implies, and understanding why that's legal requires knowing about one court case from 1997. 30 seconds. Stay with me. The ruling that changed everything. Motor oils are built on base stocks. The American Petroleum Institute classifies them into 5 groups. Groups 1, 2, and 3 all come from crude oil, pulled from the ground and refined to different levels of purity. Groups 4 and 5 are true synthetics, molecules that are chemically engineered from scratch in a laboratory, not extracted from petroleum. Group 4 is called PAO, polyalpha olefin. It's synthesized from ethylene through a controlled chemical process. The result is a base oil with perfectly uniform molecular chains, every molecule nearly identical in size and shape. That uniformity is why PAO handles temperature extremes better, resists oxidation longer, and maintains stable viscosity under sustained stress. This is what synthetic oil originally meant when Mobil introduced Mobil 1 in the 1970s. Group 3 is crude oil that has been put through a process called hydrocracking, a high-pressure, high-temperature refining technique that strips out impurities and makes the oil cleaner and more consistent than standard mineral oil. It is genuinely better than Groups 1 and 2, but it is still refined petroleum, not synthesized molecules. In 1997, Mobil, which had been making true PAO-based synthetic oil since the 1970s, filed a complaint against Castrol. Castrol had launched a product called Syntec, marketed as full synthetic but formulated with Group III base stock. Mobil's argument was simple. Group III is refined petroleum. You cannot call refined petroleum synthetic. That is not what the word means. The National Advertising Division ruled in Castrol's favor. Because hydrocracking changes Group III oil's properties significantly from its original crude state, it could legally carry the synthetic label in the United States. Mobil appealed. They lost again. That ruling permanently changed the motor oil industry. Oil companies realized they could use cheaper Group III base stocks, print full synthetic on the label, charge Group IV PAO prices, and face zero legal consequences. The financial incentive was enormous. The transition happened fast, and it has been happening on store shelves ever since. Now back to the brands. Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic. Valvoline was founded in 1866. That heritage is real, and for most of the brand's history, it actually meant something in terms of the product inside the bottle. The older Valvoline SynPower formula used PAO-based stocks. That product had the chemistry to back up the synthetic claim. Enthusiasts and mechanics trusted it because the trust was earned. Then Valvoline reformulated. Quietly, no press release, no announcement on the packaging, no label change that a consumer standing in the AutoZone aisle would notice. The current advanced full synthetic and high mileage full synthetic lines use Group III base stocks. The bottles still say full synthetic, the price still reflects synthetic positioning. The brand still trades on 150 years of heritage. And most consumers buying based on brand loyalty, the people who've been reaching for that green bottle for decades, have absolutely no idea the formulation changed underneath them. Valvoline's technical datasheets confirm the use of hydroprocessed base stocks in their current synthetic formulations. The viscosity index numbers are consistent with Group III, not PAO. The quality control at Valvoline is genuine, and the additive packages are legitimate. The oil protects engines adequately for normal use, but the gap between what the brand was and what it now sells is significant. And that gap exists entirely because a court ruling made it profitable to close it in the wrong direction. Quick note, remember how I said Group III is still refined petroleum? That's what's in this bottle. And the next one, Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic. Ultimate durability. Take a moment to think about what those two words are promising you. Ultimate, meaning the highest possible level. Durability, meaning your engine is protected as long and as completely as chemistry allows. That name is doing an enormous amount of work for a Group III formulation. Quaker State has been an American household name for decades. The brand carries genuine historical weight, and Shell Eneos, which acquired Quaker State, has maintained that positioning carefully because the name recognition is worth real money in marketing terms. Consumers see Quaker State and they see an American institution with a long track record of engine protection. But Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic is Group III. Shell's technical teams are competent engineers and the additive package is well developed. The oil passes API SP certification without difficulty. For standard vehicles with normal driving patterns and regular oil change intervals, Quaker State Full Synthetic provides adequate protection. Here's what makes this particularly notable. Shell owns both Quaker State and Pennzoil. Shell's flagship synthetic technology, HAO, the GTL-based stock used in Pennzoil Platinum, is not used in Quaker State products. The brands share a parent company, share engineering resources, share distribution infrastructure, but they do not share base oil chemistry. The premium technology Shell developed stays in the Pennzoil bottles. Quaker State gets Group III and a name that implies something better. Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. This one requires more careful explanation than any other brand on this list, because it is genuinely different, and oversimplifying it would be the kind of inaccuracy that undermines everything else I'm telling you. Pennzoil Platinum uses what they call Pure Plus technology. The base stock is GTL, gas to liquid, derived from natural gas through a process called Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. Shell, which owns Pennzoil, operates one of the world's largest GTL facilities in Qatar. This is not a marketing claim. It is a real manufacturing process at a real industrial facility producing a genuinely distinct base oil. Here's the chemistry that matters specifically for this brand. GTL is not conventional Group III. It does not come from crude oil. It is synthesized from natural gas, which produces a base oil with exceptionally low sulfur content, very consistent molecular structure, and performance characteristics that sit above conventional Group III. The industry classifies it as Group III+, and its properties in many standardized tests approach Group IV PAO performance. Exceptionally pure, very low sulfur, excellent oxidation stability. But GTL is not PAO. These are different chemistries with different molecular structures. PAO still has a performance edge in extreme thermal conditions and at temperature extremes. The molecular uniformity of PAO is more complete than GTL. Pennzoil Platinum is not the same product as Mobil One or Amsoil, even though all three carry the identical full synthetic label on the front of the bottle. Pennzoil is technically within its legal rights to call Pure Plus synthetic. The GTL process is a genuine synthesis from a non-crude starting material. But consumers comparing Pennzoil Platinum to PAO-based oils need to understand they are comparing different base stock chemistries, not equivalent products at slightly different price points. Pennzoil Platinum is better than standard Group III. It is not the same as PAO. Store brands: Supertech, Amazon Basics, Kirkland Signature. These three deserve to be addressed together because they operate on exactly the same model, and that model is actually more honest than most of the premium brands on this list, which is a genuinely damning statement about the premium brands. Walmart's Supertech, Amazon Basics, and Costco's Kirkland Signature are all private label products. They are contract manufactured by large oil producers. Warren Distribution handles a significant portion of this market and sold under retail brand names with no direct connection to any oil company, heritage, or engineering history. All three use Group III base stocks. All three are priced low enough that an informed consumer would immediately recognize them as budget products. Supertech runs around $22 for 5 quarts. Amazon Basics and Kirkland Signature are priced similarly. At that price point, PAO chemistry is simply not possible. Group IV PAO costs significantly more to produce, and that cost gets passed through to retail pricing without exception. The price is actually telling you the truth here. The label isn't. Here's the genuine problem. The label still says full synthetic. A consumer with no knowledge of base oil chemistry stands in that aisle, sees full synthetic on the $22 jug, and reasonably assumes it means the same thing as the $50 bottle sitting right next to it on the same shelf. It does not. The price difference is real, and it reflects a real chemistry difference, but nothing printed on either label communicates that distinction to someone who hasn't done this research. For normal driving with oil changes every 5,000 miles, these oils are adequate. They are significantly better than conventional mineral oil. Your engine will not suffer from using SuperTech on schedule, but you should be buying them knowing they are Group 3, not assuming they are something chemically different because the label uses the word synthetic. Quick lube chain house brands: Jiffy Lube, Take 5, Valvoline Instant Oil Change. This is where the Group 3 synthetic issue becomes most financially significant for the average consumer. Because you are not just buying oil at a retail price, you are paying for a complete service at premium synthetic pricing, and the oil going into your engine is determined entirely by what the chain decided to source that quarter. Quick lube chains source their house brand synthetic oil in bulk from contract manufacturers. These are Group 3 formulations purchased at commodity bulk pricing. The chains brand them with their own labels, train their staff to call them full synthetics, which is legally accurate, and charge customers the full premium synthetic service price. The margin on that transaction is substantial. That margin is a core part of the quick lube business model. What makes this particularly difficult to navigate as a consumer is that the specific oil going into your engine is almost never disclosed at the service counter. You are told full synthetic. You are not told which brand, which specific formulation, or which base oil group. The technician writing up your service ticket may not know themselves. They pour what's in the drum, and the drum says full synthetic. The legal definition of synthetic does the rest of the work for the chain's profit margin. If you use quick lube services regularly, ask specifically what brand and product they use before they start the service. Get the name, look it up. If they cannot or will not tell you the specific product going into your engine, that is information worth having before you hand over your money for what you believe is premium chemistry. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, service center versus retail. This gets its own separate entry, distinct from the retail Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic discussed earlier, because most consumers don't realize these are two fundamentally different products that happen to share one well-known brand name. Valvoline operates as both a retail oil brand sold in stores and a service center chain with thousands of locations across the United States. The oil used at Valvoline Instant Oil Change service centers is not necessarily the same formulation as the Valvoline bottle you pick up at AutoZone. The service center product is a house formulation sourced specifically for bulk service use, and like all quick lube house brands, it is Group 3. This creates a specific consumer trap that is easy to fall into. Someone trusts the Valvoline brand name. They've used Valvoline retail products for years. They go to a Valvoline instant oil change, pay for a full synthetic oil change, and assume they are receiving a product equivalent to what they could buy off a shelf. The brand name is the same. The base oil category is the same. Both retail and service center products are Group 3. But the specific formulation and additive package can differ, and the premium service pricing applies regardless of which version of the product ends up in your engine. Valvoline's retail synthetic products and their service center products should be understood as distinct offerings that share a name and a brand identity but are not interchangeable products. Ravenol standard synthetic lines. Ravenol is a German brand, and that German engineering association does very real marketing work in the automotive enthusiast community. German engineering carries weight with car people. It implies precision, quality standards, and chemistry that matches the expectations of European OEMs with demanding specifications. To Ravenol's genuine credit, some of their lines fully deserve that reputation. Their VST and VSE product lines use PAO and ester-based stocks, real Group 4 chemistry, real premium product, pricing that reflects actual base oil cost. If you're buying Ravenol VST or VSE, you are getting what the German engineering reputation implies. The problem is their standard synthetic lines. VSW, VMP, and other formulations sold at mainstream price points. These use Group 3 base stocks. Same brand, same German flag on the packaging, same Ravenol name that enthusiasts associate with premium chemistry. Different base oil entirely. This creates a significant brand perception problem that Ravenol does not go out of their way to resolve. Consumers who see the Ravenol name and the German flag assume they are getting the same PAO chemistry that's in the premium lines. The standard lines use Group 3 and the pricing reflects this, but the branding absolutely does not communicate that distinction to someone who isn't specifically looking for it. VST and VSE, PAO and esters. VSW and standard formulations, Group 3. The brand name alone tells you nothing about what is actually inside the bottle. Eneos Full Synthetic, US market. Eneos has built genuine credibility among import car enthusiasts in the United States. The packaging is clean and premium. The Japanese Engineering Association is strong. Honda and Toyota owners in particular have gravitated toward Eneos because of the perceived connection to Japanese automotive manufacturing standards and the assumption that a Japanese oil brand means Japanese quality base oil chemistry. The US market formulations primarily use Group III base stocks. Eneos publishes technical data for their products, and the base oil classification in their US synthetic line is Group III hydroprocessed. The viscosity indices confirm this, typically in the 130 to 140 range, which is consistent with high-quality Group III and significantly below the 150-plus range you see with PAO base oils. The quality control is legitimate. The additive packages are competent. Eneos oils perform well for normal driving applications with regular oil change intervals. But the gap between the brand's premium perception in the enthusiast community and the Group III reality inside the bottle is significant. You are paying for a reputation built partly on home market formulations and the association with Japanese engineering while receiving a US market product with different base oil chemistry than that reputation implies. Idemitsu Full Synthetic, US market. Idemitsu is the brand that most completely illustrates the entire problem with motor oil marketing in the United States, which is why it sits at the top of this list. Idemitsu has a genuinely strong reputation in Japan. The brand is respected in the Japanese domestic market, and that reputation has carried over to American consumers, particularly among owners of Japanese vehicles who believe that buying a Japanese oil brand means buying oil formulated to the standards that Japanese automakers actually use and trust. The US market formulations use Group III base stocks. Idemitsu's US technical data sheets reference hydroprocessed base stocks, the specific language the industry uses when they want to accurately describe their base oil without directly stating Group III in a way that consumers might search for and find problematic. The same brand name that carries premium associations in Japan. Different chemistry in the bottle sold at American auto parts stores. The additive packages are competent. The oil meets API certification requirements. For standard driving with normal change intervals, it protects adequately. But you are paying for a reputation built in a different market while receiving a product that does not match the base oil chemistry that reputation is built on. If you are buying Idemitsu because you believe that Japanese engineering reputation translates directly to PAO base oil chemistry in US market bottles, read the technical data sheet for the specific product before you assume that's what you're getting. Does it actually matter for your engine? It depends on how you drive. Normal commuting with changes is every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Dopes this Group III is adequate. Your engine will reach 200,000 miles without issues. The real-world gap between Group III and PAO here is minimal. Extended drains beyond 10,000 miles. PAO holds up longer. Better oxidation resistance, more stable viscosity through the full interval. Turbocharged engines, heavy towing, extreme temperatures. This is where PAO matters. Turbos generate intense heat around the bearing. PAO's thermal stability delivers genuinely better protection there. If you have a turbo and you've been running Group III, this is your moment to switch. How to know what you're buying. Look for explicit PAO disclosure. Brands using PAO advertise it. No mention anywhere? Assume Group III. Check the price. Real PAO costs $40 to $55 for 5 quarts. Under $30? Group III. Read the technical data sheet. Group III brands write hydroprocessed base stocks without naming the group. That wording is deliberate. Check the viscosity index. PAO sits at 140 to 180. Group III at 120 to 135. What to buy instead? Amsoil Signature Series. Most transparent PAO brand, around $50 to $55. Mobil 1 Full Synthetic PAO blend, most widely available, around $35 to $45. Redline Full Synthetic PAO and esters, extra film strength for turbocharged engines. Royal Purple HPS and Synergy, documented PAO usage, legitimate certifications. All 4 advertise PAO because it's real, publish documentation that proves it, and price their products honestly. You now know the truth. Stop paying PAO prices for Group III oil. Drop a comment. What have you been running?